My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, but also getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. You can find a link to our playlist in the show notes. Welcome to episode 70. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Upsahl. The LA-based pop star has recently released her incredible single, Melatonin. In today's episode, we're talking with Taylor Upsahl about the new single, her original punk background, and working alongside Dua Lipa. Here we go. Our guest today is a pop singer-songwriter from Phoenix, Arizona. She's now based in LA and is working with artists such as Shinoda from Linkin Park and Big Boy, and recently released her single Melatonin. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Upsahl. Hello.
Thanks for having me. How's it going? I appreciate the opportunity for this. This will be fun.
No, of course. Thank you very much. As we just discussed a second before recording, you're currently in LA at the moment.
Yes, in Los Angeles. I spent a lot of quarantine back home in Phoenix with my family. And now that life is kind of getting back to whatever normal, quote unquote, is, I'm back in LA doing my thing. Yeah.
I was going to ask, what is the new normal for LA in terms of like being able to go to the studio or gigs or whatever?
I'm so happy that now we're back in person for sessions and stuff. Because now looking back, I don't know how I did Zoom sessions for a whole year. It's insane. So yeah, most sessions are back in person. And I just forgot how fun it is just being in the studio with people. It's amazing. But it's been cool because now I feel like quarantine opened up this whole world of, Zoom sessions. And so now I have a session tomorrow with somebody in Australia, which normally you wouldn't think that you could work with somebody across the world, but now we have Zoom. So it's opened up a lot of cool opportunities for sure, but I'm glad to be back in the studio.
Do you think that, because I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I know you've been playing music for a very long time, I think about 10, 11 years, and you are still only young yourself, but having the success that you've had in the last 12 to 16 months, have you found that that's been interesting to get wrap your head around in terms of you kind of hit a certain peak and then it goes online and it kind of changes?
Word. Yeah. I mean, I feel lucky that, during the past year when everybody was locked inside, that more people started to care about my music. I feel like us artists at the beginning of quarantine, we're oh no, what are we going to do? We can't tour anymore. No one's going to care about us anymore. So I feel lucky that people gave a shit. But it's definitely so weird now because I have seen, my little group of fans or whatever you want, I don't think of them as fans or whatever, but you know what I mean? I've seen it grow. It's this community of all these like-minded people now, but it's such a trip because I only, interact with these people through social media. And I'm what is it going to be like when we're at a real show again? It's going to be crazy. I cannot wait to tour again. It's going to be cool for sure.
It is very exciting. We're a little bit behind here. We were having a really good, I don't think there's such a thing as a good pandemic, but we seem to handle it well at the start. We were at one point, and then now we're all back in lockdown. There's no gigs, there's nothing. People aren't. It's just kind of fallen to.
You guys really were everyone was jealous of Australia for a while. I was like, they're going to festivals, like they're thriving over there. It's a crazy time, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
It's wild.
Congratulations on Melatonin, the single, which is currently out now.
Thank you.
I'm probably too old to say this, but it is a bop, I believe is the correct term or phrase.
Yes.
Where did this song come from?
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I wrote it. It's the second single off of my album that I'm going to be dropping later this year. And my whole kind of vision for the album was I wanted it to tell a story, or the story of my life since going through a breakup with like the only person I'd ever been with. So like, you know, and it happened during quarantine too. So I was like really in my feels. And so that the first song in the beginning of the story is a song called Douchebag, which I put out before Melatonin, which kind of starts the story. It's about the breakup. And then Melatonin is sort of this song that's about not being able to sleep. Really, that's pretty much all there is to it. I feel like when you know you're at a low, sometimes you just like are up all night just staring at the ceiling and you're exhausted, but you're just like replaying all the things you've done wrong in your life and you're overthinking everything. And then for me, then I would like do anything, like I would finally like fall asleep, and then I would have like stress dreams where I would like have dreams about all these like horrible memories or whatever. So I was like, great, I can't even escape my problems in my sleep. And then I was in a writing camp with my friends Pete and Elijah, who I've done a lot of the album with. And in LA, in order to get in the studio with people, you'd have to do camps where like everyone would quarantine for 2 weeks and then go into like a house or like an Airbnb together and be like COVID safe or whatever. So we did one of those like last fall, and we were in this dope Airbnb in LA, and there were all these like random books lying around. And so we were just like flipping through books, having a good time. And my friend Elijah, who I wrote the song with, was like flipping through and saw something that said I had too much to dream last night. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like we should write a song with that lyric. And then it just kind of spiraled into the song that it is now. Yeah.
It is a very cool track. It's very like new disco kind of pop, but it's still like incredible bass line. I know that you grew up around a very different kind of music scene, so I'm kind of curious how you got from your dad's punk scene to new disco kind of like pop bangers, as we said.
Word. Yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to a bunch of shit, but like, yeah, the punk scene was very near and dear to my heart, just because my dad, I guess, I was just around that a lot, and I would have, you know, bands who were touring through Phoenix, like crashing on my living room floor when I was like 5 years old. So I was just obsessed with the whole idea of like punk music. But I also, you know, was listening to Gwen Stefani and Outkast and Weezer and Avril Lavigne and just like so much random. It was just a crazy mixture of things, I guess. And then I started making music in high school that was kind of more in the alt, whatever, indie rock world. And then I moved to LA and I started doing sessions, and I was introduced to, you know, all the fun things you can do with production. And when you have the right producers, you can do whatever kind of music you want. And that has just been the most like freeing thing for me, I guess, is just like the day we made Melatonin, we were like, this is going to be a song that's about something that's sad, but we want it to sound like you're dancing. There's like a disco ball above you and you're having a great time. And so like, that's the song we made. I feel like it's cool because we're like living in a genreless music scene right now. So yeah, it's just fun to be able to make whatever you're feeling that day, for sure.
I would 100% agree with the at the moment there is no genres, or it's not. Yeah. It's a way to definitely like classify like a record store in terms of like where things are, but in terms of music being created, it is really good because there is like no boundaries on what you can do.
Yeah, it's such a fun time to be doing it. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was just going to say I feel like there's and I could be very wrong, but I'm curious to get your opinion on. I feel like there's still a maybe like ethos of punk, or like your lyrical content still seems to kind of be like honest, brash, but it still works with the music that you're making. Do you think that that's possibly an influence that you picked up from your dad, or just in general from that kind of initial introduction?
100%. Yeah, I think the whole energy of whatever punk is, I've tried to like preserve in myself and in my music. And yeah, I think as I've grown as a songwriter and figured out what I want to say and how I want to say it, I feel so empowered just saying whatever I want, whether it's going to piss somebody off or not. I'm just like, we're going to say it and we're going to see what happens. And yeah, that's definitely from my dad. My parents have always just been like, just be unapologetically yourself, do you, like, and I think, yeah, that definitely comes across in my music. And I think that is what makes making music so fun for me, is like writing a song, and then if you're like a little scared when you drop it, that feeling of like, oh, people might hate this or they might love it, is so fun for me. I feel like that's what music is all about.
I feel like you had one of the best lines of 2020 for some people who might not know. As you said, doing sessions, you are a singer and songwriter yourself, but you also songwrite with other people. And you did co-write on, what was it, on Good in Bed from Future Nostalgia by Dua Lipa. And one of, I think, the standout lines from that song is all that good pipe in the moonlight.
Yes. Thank you.
When you come across a line like that, is there any, as you said, like, is there any fear of like people being like, oh no, what is this? Or is it kind of, yeah, how do you approach that if there is any apprehension?
There's definitely a fear. And like, what's funny is a lot of the times when I'm in the studio, we'll write lines that are so out there, like, yeah, like all that good pipe in the moonlight. And then in the back of everyone's heads, we're like, no, like once we put out the actual song, like we'll replace that with something else that plays it a little more safe. And then we just never do, because everyone starts to like love those specific lyrics, and then we just stick with it. And that was definitely one of those where we were just like, you know, it was me and Melanie and Lindgren kind of started the idea of For Good in Bed in a session one day, and we were just riffing off each other. We were like, we dedicate this verse to all the good pipe in the moonlight and blah, blah, blah. And just were like going and not really thinking about what we were going to say. And then when Dua, took the song and made it her own, I was just so like in awe of the fact that like somebody like her is like being so unapologetic about sex. I just think it's the coolest thing ever. And like, I'm just honored to be a part of it, for sure.
It is a great song. It is a very cool song.
Thanks.
In terms of like whether it's for writing for others or for yourself, because I feel like that song is unapologetically sexual in a sex positive way, and there's other songs of yours which are quite like, again, as I mentioned before, the songwriting's quite honest, it's quite real, without being, well, just it comes across as kind of yourself, as if that is your personality. How important is that to you when you are songwriting, that you are honest and that it is really you?
Yeah, that's super important. I feel like for me, songwriting is it sounds like the cheesiest thing ever, but it really is like a form of like therapy for me, I guess. When I'm like feeling some type of way, I just like write it out in a song. So without having to like think about it, the songs that I write, especially for like my artist project, are very much just me and like whatever I'm thinking that day, I'll just like put into a song. But yeah, I feel like the biggest thing I've learned as a songwriter and from being able to write with other artists is like for songs that are for me, for Upsahl, like if another artist could pull off saying whatever it is I'm saying or singing whatever it is I'm saying in the song, then like it's not me enough, and I need to make it more me, if that makes sense. So I try to just like, dive into myself when I'm writing for me, for sure.
Of course, as you mentioned before, there is an Upsahl album coming out later in the year. I think around October. What can we expect from this new album?
Yeah, I'm very excited. This is my first album. It's been fun. I feel like we live in such a single world where everyone's just dropping singles, which I love. But it's been so fun to like dive in with my team of writers and producers and just like make a full, piece of art that we're all just like so excited about. I guess with the album, I really just wanted to like tell the story. And I feel like 2020 was a horrible year and even going into 2021 now, we're halfway through 2021 and shit is still going down. It's just been a rough year and a half for everybody.
Still catching up.
Yeah. And so I think this album is just like super vulnerable. I've felt feelings that I didn't know existed in the past year. Like we've all just been going through it. So this album is my personal experience, and it's all kind of sequenced in chronological order, starting with Douchebag and the breakup, and then kind of continuing on to like where I am now. So it really is like, I kind of wanted it to feel, we're making music videos for all the songs. I kind of just wanted it to feel like you're like watching or listening to like a series of a TV show or something. So yeah, I'm excited to make like a project. It's been fun.
It is very exciting news, and I know that a lot of people are excited about it. You do seem to have a lot of like loyal fans and people who do really enjoy what you are doing.
It took a lifetime to find the person you want to marry. Finding the perfect engagement ring is a lot easier. At BlueNile.com, you can find or design the ring you've always dreamed of with help from Blue Nile's jewelry experts who are on hand 24/7 to answer questions, and the ease and convenience of shopping online. For a limited time, get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's $50 off with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Have you found that, again, as we mentioned earlier, like I feel like your rise, if you will, has come at a really interesting time in the last few years. Do you find it not difficult, but I think there was a collaboration that you did with Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park and Ian Dior, and that it was like you weren't able to perform the song for like a number of months until on TV.
Yeah.
How have you found like people's maybe not reaction, but like what has the reaction from fans been like when it comes to having to ingest things differently and kind of like wait for performances and do that kind of thing?
It's been weird. Like being in music right now is weird, especially now as we're kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and we may be touring soon. It's like the music industry is so saturated now because us artists have been making all of these things that like during quarantine, we're just so excited to like release all the music in the world and whatever. And now it's just so saturated, and it's cool as like a fan of music because all of my favorite artists are releasing so much music. But as an artist trying to do your thing, like it's extra hard to get people to pay attention to your shit. So yeah, I guess it's been, with Happy Endings with Mike and Ian, like I didn't meet them until we sang the show on TV together because we just had to make the song over Zoom. And like, that's just so, if you would have told me that 2 years ago, that I would be like, what are you talking about? People have a song out together and they don't even, they've never met. Like, but now that's the world we're living in. So it's definitely been a trippy time. But yeah, I do feel very lucky to have my little, fan base and community of people who are just down for the ride, and we're just here to make music. Yeah.
Is there a name for your fan base yet? I know that like Gaga has Little Monsters and there are Beliebers. Is there an equivalent for yourself? We have like a Discord thing, which is like a
I don't even know what it is, but it's this cool site where everyone can just like become friends and shit. And everyone's always like brainstorming random ideas. There's been a bunch. At one point, because I have a song called Drugs, they were like, we're going to call ourselves the Druggies. And I was like, we can't do that. Like, you like, parents will hate me. We have to. So no, ideas are welcome. If you have any ideas, I don't think we've settled on one yet. We're still brainstorming. So.
I personally, I do like the track Drugs. And so it was going to be around that, but yeah, Druggies doesn't quite work, does it? It gives off a very different kind of vibe.
Exactly. I was like, we got to do something a little more family friendly. So we're working on it. Yeah.
That's very fair. As you mentioned, hopefully going on tour as the year continues. I know that you're going on tour with Olivia O'Brien. I think it is come August and September. Firstly, how much are you looking forward to getting back onto the road and playing shows?
It's going to be insane. I'm also like such a fan of Olivia too, so I'm just stoked to get to tour with her. But yeah, I mean, my last show I played was in St. Louis at the beginning of a tour that I was supposed to do in March of 2020, and played the one show and got sent home. And since then, I've just been trying so hard to just live off of that high, which was now like a year and a half ago. So yeah, the amount of serotonin I'm about to get from this first show back is going to be insane. I cannot wait. It's going to be fun.
What can fans of yours expect from these shows?
Yeah, I'll have my band. It's the three of us. We've been touring together for the past, since I started a few years ago. It's going to be a party. I guess I just want everyone like just dancing. We'll start a mosh pit if we feel like it. I feel like people are just going to be so stoked to be back at shows. Like the energy is going to be so unmatched. I just cannot wait. I just want it to be one big dance party, basically.
That's very fair. I can understand wanting a huge dance party.
Yeah.
Have you been to any gigs yet since California's kind of opened up?
Yeah. So we're shut down-ish again, where like shows aren't happening again for a few, but up until then, yeah, I was going to like random like shitty bar shows, and it was amazing. Like the whole idea of just like being in a room, like sweating, dancing, just around a bunch of strangers, like we took it for granted so much. And now that like it's back, it's just like, as an artist, I feel so lucky because as a fan, I felt how exciting it is to be in the audience again. So I just can't wait to like be able to do that every night on tour. Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
I'm just very curious, I know when we started going back to shows here, there was initially, I think after a few weeks it kind of dissipated, but there was like apprehension in people going to shows and being too close and being, like you go to a gig, people were kind of, as you said, getting sweaty, dancing up the front. There was like a little bit of like just personal space for a little while before. 6 feet,
please. Exactly.
Was there any of that in any of the shows you went to, or was it just like straight back to enjoying it properly as it should be?
Yeah, I feel like it's weird. Like I still feel like I'm like naked without my mask. Like I still wear my mask indoors. But yeah, it's weird. I feel like everyone's a bit traumatized. It's honestly really sad, but everyone's a bit like weird and like tiptoeing around everything now, which I think is good and it's safe to do so. But I got vaxxed to where I'm like before LA like re-shut down again, like I was really living for the live shows. Like it was so fun, but now it's gotten taken away from us again, so who fucking knows? We will see. But yeah, so it's just a weird time for everyone. It's crazy.
It is a very odd time. I'm looking forward to it just going back to the I don't think it's ever going to go back to normal, but being able to go to a show and bumping into people and it not having any thought of like, oh, now I need to sanitize my arm or something. That's obviously a good thing.
Exactly.
Usually we would speak to our guests about what they're listening to. Is there anything at the moment, any albums or any singles that are kind of getting a thrashing on your playlist?
Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of soul acts. They're like amazing. I honestly it's just like they just do a bunch of sick remixes, and I've been very inspired by like the beats they do and kind of like using that for inspiration for song ideas. A lot of Radiohead recently, like The Bends. I forgot how good that album was. Like, oh my gosh, that's been on repeat. What else? The Doja Cat album. Oh my God. Have you heard the Doja Cat album? It's so good.
I've heard bits and pieces of it, but yeah. What is it? Planet Her?
Planet Her, yeah. I've been listening to a lot of that. Yeah, a bunch of stuff. I've also just been getting a lot, now that like Hulu thing with like Paul McCartney and Rick Rubin came out, I've been back in like a Beatles kick. I don't know. I'm just kind of all over the place all the time. It just depends on the day, I guess, with however I'm feeling. Yeah.
Where do you think that you got your kind of taste from in terms of being able to like listen to, as we said, it is a genreless kind of world at the moment, but it is still like Doja, Radiohead, Paul McCartney, all kind of different acts. Like, do you think that you got, where did you get your kind of listening influences from, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think I got a lot of my listening influences from my dad. I mean, growing up, we were listening to like Fugazi, and then he would like turn on Outkast, and then we would listen, like it was just kind of all over the place. So I grew to love a lot of different kinds of music, and then kind of took all like different pieces of inspiration from, you know, each of those artists or bands or whatever, and put those into the music that I make now. And I feel like especially now, like music that has no genre. There's like all artists doing country songs, and like everyone's just doing whatever, and it's so freeing, and it makes music so exciting for me to listen to. Yeah, it's been amazing.
With that in mind, and to kind of wrap up, do you think that at any point, maybe not this upcoming record, but at any point in the future, we could expect a punk record from yourself, kind of like going full circle, even bringing your dad on board, possibly?
Yes, I would love nothing more. My dad is actually playing on this album. He's shredding some bass on it. It's been fun. But
awesome.
Definitely doing, like, I'm actually right now working on some very punk shit, which has been very, very fun for me. So yeah, we can definitely expect some punk music in the future. Yeah.
That's very, very exciting. Taylor, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I do appreciate it. And congratulations again.
Thanks for having me.
Melatonin and the single. No, my absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Upsahl for her time. Melatonin and new single, Time of My Life, is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to stream her music. We also want to give a huge shout out to Nina at the Oriel Co for helping out with today's interview. You can find a link to our Spotify playlist in the show notes, where you'll be able to listen to all of our guests' picks. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Thursday and Friday morning, with guest playlists streaming on Spotify at the same time. You can follow the playlist profile on Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
The most powerful designer drugs are the digital ones we use daily. And we get high off them. One touch, tap, like, scroll at a time. You know, just like tech creators want us to. Use digital without digital using you. Learn more at sync.ithra.com.